everyone, I'm Kristen Ciccolini.
And I'm Janine Malone.
And you're listening to It's Just a Phase. Each week, we'll bring you inspiring and informative conversations about honoring the different cycles of life, covering topics of health and wellness, moon phases, astrology, witchcraft, feminism, and more so you can superpower your well-being and live your best life.
Welcome to week 2 of summer camp. We hope you enjoyed last week's activities. We've got another mini episode for you today all about the waning moon. Get ready for some free playtime. This week is associated with fall, water energy, and the luteal phase. Let's get into it.
It sounds like you've been to a lot of summer camp.
I actually have never been to summer camp.
Really? The only summer camp I know, like I used to do like day camp, but I never did like sleepaway summer camp. I've only ever seen it on TV.
No, we haven't. I haven't either. And Dean has been to a ton of summer camp and was a counselor. So we actually got married at his childhood summer camp because it's so important to him.
Oh, so you kind of know all the lingo and like.
I feel like I studied up because he thinks it's ridiculous that I've never been to camp.
I mean,
so I'm gonna tell him that you said that I sound like I've been to camp.
You fit in so well.
I seem like a camper. I have the enthusiasm of a camper.
You definitely seem like a camper, and I could see you being such a fun counselor.
Oh my God. I don't know why that just feels like such a nice compliment.
Well, let's get into Wet Hot Cosmic Summer Week 2.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to get Paul Rudd to make an appearance. We'll see.
Oh my God. I think if anything can do it, Cosmic Summer Camp can do it.
Yesterday I was thinking I wish that there was an app that was just like Paul Rudd showing up every day giving you a pep talk. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where is that crowdfunding campaign? Because I would donate to it.
He's just such a happy, positive angel. I love him. Anyway, so it's the waning moon, last quarter moon. So Tuesday, August 11th will be the last quarter moon in Taurus. And the moon is exalted in Taurus, meaning it feels right at home. So it's right where it wants to be, which is good for us because it makes the transition from full moon to new moon a little more relaxed. And sometimes that transition can be a little difficult, but I think this is a little more fun this time around. So it's a good time for indulging in your senses, anything that makes you feel more like yourself and more at home in your body.
As it wanes a little bit later this week, it's a good time to do some self-assessment, get organized and nourished. Energetically, you may be feeling a little low after all the excitement around the full moon, and that's totally okay. That makes it even better to do some more sensual things like cooking a nice meal for yourself, spending some extra time in the shower or bath, whatever makes you feel good and feel restored. Focus on that this week. Kristen, what are you doing on this waning moon week?
I will still be in Maine with my family. And I'm also usually I take my laptop with me everywhere I go, and I am taking it with me this week, but I'm also trying to take some time off and purposely block off days where I'm not doing anything except for hanging out with family, obviously, especially as I'm planning my new program, trying to get that off the ground soon. I definitely need a little bit of balance of work and play this week. But we mentioned doing things that feel like home. And even though we won't be at my mom's house, being around my mom and my sisters always feels really good and really grounding. What are you doing to sync up?
I mean, kind of the same thing. We're taking a little bit of a staycation. We haven't really decided if we're going to try and spend a night somewhere else or whatever, but really setting aside time to be we're off, not staring at screens all the time, maybe trying, I'm going to try not to turn the TV even on, just going to the beach, doing some stuff around the house, taking time to read and really just be without consuming so much constant interaction and engagement will feel really, really good. I'm very excited to do that.
Yeah, it changes your brain. It totally changes.
Oh, 100%. Every time I do it, I'm I'm never going back. But life happens.
Last time we were in Maine, we sat on my mom's back porch and just stared at birds for an hour.
God,
and it was so nice.
So nice. it really does remind you, it just gives you like a lot of perspective, you know? We
Yeah.
have access to so much information all the time that it's nice to remember like really what it feels like to just be, you know? That to me feels like almost a meditative practice at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm like scrolling through my phone, I kind of dissociate a little, sort of like zoom out
Oh, yeah.
and I just kind of notice that like I'm doing something so insignificant when there's all this other life around me that I could be participating in. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I wasting so much time on this?
Right.
So, yeah, not staring at screens all day sounds really fun.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that that really fits in with our activities this week of like kind of coming back to self. So, kicking off with our practice for our minds, our creativity, and our businesses. Hopefully, the full moon period, you were able to shine a light on what feels good and what you want more of, because that really sets us up to cut some cords during the waning moon. This week, I really suggest doing a time audit and getting super clear on where your precious time is going. Definitely not the sexiest task in the world, but keeping a note on your phone or a piece of paper on your desk to track how you spend your time for a few days for like from like waking up to going to bed, including everything like I spent 2 hours this morning on TikTok because that's a thing I do now. Um, it's just like it's a little bit of work up front, but getting a sense of where your precious time is going is really, really helpful because it can help you, it can show you where there's opportunity to reallocate time into things that really matter to you, like building those relationships or creating a new program or looking for a new job maybe. Like there's that freedom and that power is like worth its weight in gold. So, highly recommend trying that out this week.
Yeah, especially if you have, if you, I don't know if they do this on your phone, but with the iPhone, they have the screen time alert.
Yes.
It normally, I think it should be illegal, especially during quarantine, for that to even pop up. But it is good to use to help you realize like how much you need to take it back or take it down a notch, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I think that of like I think in the waning moon it's always a good time to like revisit your boundaries, like where you felt you left let a little bit too much energy go. And while if you want to I don't know, I just find that doing those kind of things is like really really helpful. I think the phone thing is challenging cuz like
Mm.
I don't know when my phone tells me I've been on there for 6 hours if I was like really answering emails and doing work or if I was just like literally watching TikTok videos. But
Oh, for
I
me,
think
it's
it's
TikTok for sure.
yeah, totally. So, I think it's really nice to, I think that people feel a lot of pressure or a lot of like they feel very powerless to the idea that like there's only so much time in a day,
Mm.
but doing these time audits is a really clarifying experience because you realize how much time you have available to you and can be reallocated. And if there's nothing you want to change, great. At least you're aware. It kind of puts you back in the driver's seat, which is really what I'm all about personally.
Yes, I will definitely be doing that this week.
Yeah.
For our body practice, as we're winding down from a really fun and dance filled, energetic full moon, hopefully you enjoyed the playlist. We're preparing for a rest period, and there's a lot of productivity in rest. So your body gets to repair and restore and rejuvenate, but you need nutrients to support those processes. So in this phase, as we prepare for rest, that's a really good time to focus on these nourishing foods. So if there's only one thing I recommend, it's really just making sure that your meals are balanced with protein, fat, and fiber. So those are the three things you want represented in your meals to support your blood sugar and energy levels throughout the day. But if you want to go further, make sure you have a variety of foods that have B vitamins. So these are really important for supporting energy production in the body. So, in this phase, in the waning moon, luteal phase, energy is winding down. So we don't want to feel depleted. We want to make sure that we're supporting our energy there. So things like nuts and seeds, whole grains, beans and lentils, leafy greens, mushrooms, and if you eat animal products, chicken, beef, and eggs are really rich in B vitamins as well. If you are vegan, vegetarian, B12 is a really important one that you'll want to try to find. So, nutritional yeast, seaweed, those are a couple plant-based sources of that, or you may need to supplement. But see if you do this and just see if you notice a difference in your energy at all. Because I find, especially with sleep, I find that that makes a huge difference for me. So, yeah, try that out this week and let me know how it goes.
Yes, definitely. Do you have any recommendations of like getting started with making sure you have all of those things represented? Like a good smoothie or something? Been drinking a lot of smoothies.
Oh, yeah. I tend to make the same smoothie a lot or just throw things in the blender depending on what I have in the freezer. But any smoothie I make has the same sort of building blocks, like I just said. So I'll start with a handful of greens, usually spinach, but I'll also save the stalks of kale leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep those in the freezer to use so I'm not wasting anything. Then I will do berries and banana or pineapple. Banana makes it really creamy and adds some sweetness that cuts the taste of the greens. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
into that, especially with kale, it can be a little earthy. I've been loving pineapple more instead of the banana lately, so very summery. So I'll go with that lately, and then so, what do we have so far? We have spinach, berries, usually blueberries is what I do, banana or pineapple. All of that is my fiber component. And then protein and fat we need next. So, I'll
Oh.
use nut butter, almond butter, peanut butter, whatever I have around, and some chia seeds or flax seeds. So, fun fact the chia seeds and flax seeds, both of them have protein, fat, and fiber. So, a little of everything.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Magical little things.
Plants are complex. Yeah, and then finally, if I want to amp up the protein, so you'll get the protein from the chia seeds or nut butters. If I want more, I'll use collagen powder, which is my preferred protein supplement. I don't usually like many others because they can have a weird flavor. Like protein powders can definitely make or break a smoothie. So weird flavors, questionable ingredients. I just prefer collagen because it's pure. It's only one ingredient, and it's pretty flavorless, so it blends really nicely. And I will blend it with coconut milk or almond milk. So that's like my basic smoothie, and then
Delicious.
I'll add all my fun stuff to it and jazz it up with superfoods if I'm feeling fancy.
No, I think that's great because I don't know that I have any idea of like what has fiber in it besides broccoli. That like comes to mind for some reason. So I think that's really helpful. Like I
Well,
don't
getting a
always
lot
think about
of
those
like
things.
whole foods is going to give you
Totally.
fiber. So, vegetables, fruits, whole grains. You can even put oats in your smoothie if you wanted to, but things in their whole form retain their fiber. So, just keeping that in
Mm,
mind. Um,
so helpful.
yeah, hopefully you guys have some smoothie recipes you want to send our way that you built off of that.
Yes. Show us pictures of your beautiful smoothies.
Um, and then the third thing we have for you, our spirit activity this week. I'm a huge fan of candle magic. And so I thought that I would share one thing that I like to do with the self assessment of the waning moon. You're thinking about what you've learned. Also, really good to think of any shadow behind it. What's the part of what you learned that you might need to start working on or integrating? So, I like to take three candles that represent these three things. So the shadow, the light, and their integration. So, you have three in a row, and I like to put the integration one in the middle because it just makes sense. But as you light them, you can say affirmations, lighting the candle that represents light, saying, I love and accept the light in me. Or you can be more descriptive of what that light aspect actually is. And then lighting the shadow one, I love and accept the shadow in me. And then the center, I honor both the light and shadow aspects of my being and embrace them to bring forth my whole self. You can be very descriptive, however you want to do it, but that's like the gist of it. Does that make sense? I feel like when I
Yeah.
describe things versus actually doing it, it gets lost in translation, but hopefully that
No,
makes
it makes
sense.
total sense to me. Do you pick particular colors? Like how do you have a preference or do you just kind of go with intuitively what works? what
I
feels good?
I mean, you can depending on what it is, I mean, different colors can mean different things. I
Right.
just use white tea lights because white can be representative of anything. I don't really like
Nice.
to use like light and dark candles for like good and bad things, just because
Yeah,
I find that a little problematic. Um,
agreed.
so yeah, I just use white to make it easy because I have a huge bag of tea lights.
Yeah.
And tea lights are really good for stuff like this because I like to keep them burning all the way through rather than putting them out. I mean, obviously, if you leave the house, you need to put them out, but we don't want any more fires. But
Correct.
they only take a few hours to burn through, or you could even use birthday candles. Those burn through really quickly, as you know. So whatever you want to do, any colors you want to use, you can, if you want to like really be fun with it and have like a blue candle and a red candle, and then the purple is the integration. Have
Yeah, yeah,
whatever you want
yeah.
to do. It can be up to you, but
I think that's a great idea. I have a million tea lights too, and for some reason, I've never thought to like use them in a practice like that.
oh, I use them all the time. I love
Yeah,
them.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, folks, that's week 2, our waning moon week here at Just a Phase Summer Camp. So if you decide to try any of these practices or all of them, hopefully, or want to share anything else about what you're doing with us this week, you can use the hashtag Just a Phase Camp or tag us on Instagram at It's Just a Phase Pod. If you have comments or questions or suggestions, feel free to email us at itsjustaphasepod@gmail.com.